Welcome to the day 5 long circular tutorial. Today we're going to do the foot and shape the toes. The first thing is the length that you're going to knit the sock to. So you'll have measured your foot and got the desired length, which is what we refer to in the pattern, and then you will knit to a length that is either between 1.5 to 2 inches less than that, depending on the pattern size that you're following. So that's what you do, and you're also measuring that length then from the back of the heel flap all the way up to the length, and that's how you know when you've knit enough. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to start knitting, and we're going to place our start of round marker to make sure we know where that is. So again, you're going to get ready to start your round in magic loop, and then you are going to just knit the round. So this is a stocking stitch foot, as is the rest of the sock. And again, as we've said for the other pieces, if you see keep in pattern or continue in pattern or start at a particular chart, then that's all you really need to know here for the foot of the sock. They're just plain rounds until then. So but we will show you a little tip here that I find really useful once I finish knitting off of this first needle. And this tip is to allow you to knit socks that are the same size. So the first thing I do is I place a removable marker just after I finished the first row of my foot, and the reason I do that is that allows me to know how many rows I knit in my foot, and then when I'm knitting my second sock it allows me to match that exactly, which I find really handy for kind of getting rid of second sock syndrome when you get to this point, because you know exactly how many rows you're aiming for. You can just keep knitting until you get there. I'll just show you a sock I have earlier, and this is what I've done with that. So I mark my row here, and then I'm going on towards the toe, and I've marked that as well after I start my toe, and that's really useful because then you know exactly how many rounds you're aiming for. So that's just a small tip. You don't have to do it, but I find it quite handy, a bit like the one we used for the leg. So you're now ready to keep going in magic loop to work the rest of this round and all of the other rounds that you need to work until you get there. There isn't anything else to say about this part of the leg. You just keep knitting until it's the right length. We've talked about that. If you have any questions, obviously get in touch around how to measure your foot. There is the PDF that was sent out, I think, just before this began that covers that as well though. So that's it. I'm going to keep going until my leg is the right length, and I will see you then. Once you've gotten your sock to the desired length, this is very short because it's a demo sock, you are now ready to shape your toes. So take a look at this. You have still got your 2 markers and your instep stitches so that divides your instep stitches from the sole stitches, which used to be your heel stitches. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be shaping along those markers, essentially coming in on both the left and right along by the markers to give yourself a toe shape. So there are 4 decreases in each decrease round. They eventually come in. So your sock is done in about 2/3 of the rows at the start of this are 1 decrease round, 1 knit round, and then as you get further in towards the top of the sock, they get quicker, so that you are decreasing at a quicker rate, so you decrease every round. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through the first decrease round, and after you've done this I will place a marker as well, and that'll be the matching marker, so you know where it is. And again, you're combining your magic loop activities with your sock activities in this one. So you just get ready to knit, make sure that you put your start of round marker in, and you'll be ready to work your decrease round. Now your decrease round is based on, as I was saying, the instep markers that you've placed. So what you're doing now is you're going to knit 3 stitches before your start of instep marker. And this feels a little bit like when you were when you were decreasing for your gusset, but you're going to be decreasing on both sides of the marker this time, which is different to the gusset, because obviously in the gusset you didn't do anything with the instep. So it's a knit 2 together decrease. Came on a little bit quick, and we're going to redo that a bit more slowly so that you can actually see it. So what you're going to do now is you come to 3 stitches before your start of instep marker, and the first decrease is a knit 2 together decrease, which is a right leaning decrease on this side. You knit the stitch, you slip your marker, you knit, and then you do a slip, slip, knit, as you've done previously. And those 2 markers are on either side, those 2 decreases are on either side of your marker as a matching pair on your right hand side of your foot. on the right hand side of the sock, sorry. Then you knit across, and this time you're going to knit the 3 stitches before this end of instep marker. And this is different to when you were doing the gusset pickup again, because you were knitting to the instep markers in that, whereas this time you are going to be knitting to before it, because you have 2 pairs of matching decreases. And again, all the time while carrying through your magic loop. I tend to, if I'm using magic loop for this, I keep it in the center of the instep to match the center of the heel at the back. So I'm now just going to knit 3 stitches before the instep. And again here it's a knit 2 together, so you go into the 2 stitches as if to knit them together, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, sorry that's a slip marker, not slip 1. Then you're going to do a slip, slip, knit, and then you're going to continue to the end of the round. And that is your decrease round. The next round that you're going to do is a plain round, which will just work in plain stocking stitch. And then that sets your pattern for your decreasing in the toe, and you just continue on then following the decreases rounds as set in the pattern. I'll be back to you once I've those done, and I'm going to show you how to then set up for the graft once you've all of your decreasing finished on your toe. So you're now going to do the very last row of your instep, and it's all right that you've lost your stitch marker because you don't really need it now because you're pretty sure where it is for this last round. So you're now going to work one final decrease. So this decrease round doesn't vary it's not any different, so it's to 3 stitches before, and knit 2 together, and knit 1, slip your marker, knit 1, slip, slip, knit. So it's the same, it's just a little bit more fiddly because you're down to a lot less stitches than you would have. It is less fiddly than doing this on the Sock Wonders, which is definitely worth watching because that's super fiddly. And it gives you an appreciation of magic loop for this particular part of the sock. So I'm just going to manipulate my way around to get my needle ready to finish the final decreases with my magic loop. So again, 3 stitches before, knit 2 together, knit 1, slip your marker, knit 1, slip, slip, knit, and then back to the start of the round. So once you're back to the start of the round, you get it ready to continue on by putting your needles ready to work. And I'll show you why that is, because you're not quite finished. Because what you want to do is you want to get your sole stitches facing your instep stitches essentially. So you're going to knit the next 4 stitches of that row, of that round, apologies, and you're going to work essentially to the start of instep marker. And the reason that you do this, and then you can take the marker out. So put your needle all the way through, drop your marker out of there, and then you can pull that through so that you can see it. What you're doing now is you want to get the stitches to face one another ready for grafting. So you use your remaining instep marker as the marker essentially, and then you push your cable through for your magic loop at that point, although you won't be doing any more magic loop because we'll be grafting. And then you have your 8 stitches facing 8 stitches, your heel and your instep stitch, they're now your sole stitches, facing your instep stitches in an even number. It's very important at this point that there is an even number of stitches. If you've done your decreasing correctly, there should be, because grafting stitches together where you don't have an even number it's not worth the fudge. So I'm going to show you the graft tomorrow on double pointed needles, but it's exactly the same regardless of needle type. You just have your stitches facing one another and you'll be all ready to go. So I will see you tomorrow for the graft. Thank you so much.